Hey guys, Mr. Jalapeno here. So this is a very common repair that I do because a lot of the new homes that are being built here in Colorado use MDF board for all the trim, right? For all the baseboard, the casings, the molding, especially here in the bathrooms where, you know, if there's any water that goes underneath that baseboard, the baseboard is just going to swell up because, like I said, it's MDF board. And it's going to act like a sponge and absorb all that water, and then it'll swell up, and that's where they call Mr. Jalapeno. First thing you want to do is cut the caulking where the baseboard meets the wall. Just make sure that when you're using your pry bar to put something behind the pry bar, that way you don't damage the drywall. And a lot of the times when you pull the baseboard, a lot of the nails don't go with the baseboard, right? They're kind of sticking out on the wall. You could either take them out, or you could just kind of pound them back in. It's totally up to you. And now I cut up my new baseboard piece. This time I'm not going to use MDF. I'm going to use actual wood. That way in the future, if they drop any water near the baseboard, it's not going to swell up like the MDF board. It's going to last much longer. And as you can see, the corner bead is a bullnose corner bead, so you kind of have to do a 22.5 for the miter cut there. It's not like a 90-degree corner bead where you just have to go 45 degrees on each side. I'm also using my 18-gauge nailer with 1.5-inch nails. And if you have a stud finder, I recommend finding the studs and that way nailing into the studs. That way it's going to be way more secure. But after I'm done nailing the board, I just go ahead and use Crawford's painter's putty to fill in those little nail holes left from the nail gun. I just apply a little bit of that putty on there and then I just sand it down. A lot of people use putty knives. You could use whatever. I just personally like using the sanding block. Once you got everything prepped, all the nail holes filled, everything, it's ready for caulking. So when I put the blue tape, I put it about a 1/16 away from the baseboard on the wall. That way, when I pull my blue tape, it's not going to pull the caulking, and the caulking is going to stay exactly where it's at. And also, it's going to help the paint not bleed through the blue tape and, you know, get the white on the wall, or the white paint on the wall, I should say. And don't forget, always have a wet rag when applying caulking. That way you don't make a mess everywhere. Let the caulking dry for about 20 minutes and then I can paint. Well, I'm using the Alex Fast Dry 20-minute caulking. That way I can paint in 20 minutes. After I paint the top of the baseboard, I go ahead and get my foam roller. Because all the baseboard here was sprayed, so this foam roller kind of mimics the effect of spray. Not as much, because it does leave like an orange peel texture to it, but it's not as bad as like brush marks on the baseboard. And that's pretty much it. Now that it's not an MDF board, it's going to last way longer with moisture and stuff. So there we go. Jalapeno Solutions. Boom.